It is a 580 Sports Talk Kansas City Royals instant reaction on our 580 Sports Talk YouTube channel and on Facebook, WIBW News. And it follows the first loss of the postseason for the Kansas City Royals as they drop a tough one, 6-5, to the New York Yankees in Game 1 of the best-of-5 American League Division Series at Yankee Stadium. I'm Dan Lucero. Spencer Dupuis is with me tonight, and we will recap what, by at least one measure, is the wildest playoff game that any of us has ever seen. There have never before been as many lead changes in a playoff game in the history of baseball as there were tonight in the Bronx. 5 lead changes in this one, but it's the Yankees who come out on the plus side of the final one with the go-ahead single coming from Alex Verdugo to give the Yankees a 6-5 lead in the 7th inning. And we could kind of start there, Spencer, that this was not a game for the stars. You look at both box scores. Bobby Witt and Vinny Pasquantino combined to go 0 for 5. You throw 0 for 10. You throw Salvador Perez in there, 1 for 14 from the biggest part, the fattest part of the Royals lineup. You look at the Yankees. Juan Soto had 3 hits. None of them amounted to much. Aaron Judge was 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Giancarlo Stanton was 0 for 4. It was not the big dogs eating, as we so commonly see and so commonly talk about, particularly when it comes to the Royals. It was some of the lesser lights for both lineups. For the Royals tonight, MJ Melendez with 2 hits, including a 2-run home run that gave the Royals briefly a 3-2 lead in the 4th. And for the Yankees, it was some guys who had been in deep funks. Austin Wells had been in a 1 for 31 before his game-tying hit in the 6th. And then Alex Verdugo, of course, the 9-hole hitter, had a miserable season with the go-ahead hit in the 7th. And I think therein lies the frustration for this one for the Royals. Like, gosh, kept their big guys in check. If our big guys could have come up with a big swing tonight, maybe this is a different ballgame.
Yeah, and I think that, obviously, together as a whole, this game was fun to watch if you're a baseball fan, right? But it wasn't fun to watch if you were a fan necessarily of either team, because when you're a fan of most teams, you want the star players to succeed in games. And that's kind of what you're looking at on TV. You're like, oh, well, Juan Soto had 3 hits, right? But what did it do? Didn't score anybody, really, right? Didn't bring anybody home. Like, if you're a Yankee fan, you want Aaron Judge to be the guy to do it. But then you're like, well, it's okay because we've got other guys. For the Royals tonight, other guys as well. MJ Melendez came up clutch with a home run to get them on the board in this one. And, we've been talking about MJ Melendez he is just not a good hitter, is what we obviously have said about him quite a few times.
Yeah, he had a big hit. Garrett Hampson, 2-run single, gave the Royals the lead in the 6th inning as well. So yeah, it was certainly a good night for, like I said, what we would call the lesser lights in the Royal lineup. But the big dogs unable to come through, and you had them up in the 9th, and Bobby Witt Jr. Went down looking with 1 out after a good tough 8-pitch at bat on a close pitch. We'll get to that. The one thing that stands out, I think Paul nails it in the YouTube live comments. We appreciate those watching us live right now on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk. Hard to win when you walk 8 batters, throw it in the trash, and come back on Monday. Walks will haunt. They will always haunt you. And they did haunt the Royals. 8 walks, 3 of them by Michael Wacha, including a leadoff walk in the 5th inning that should not have been a walk to Gleyber Torres.
Yeah.
Michael Wacha executed a really good 2-2 pitch, and he didn't get the call from Adam Hamari, who was flipping a coin all night behind home plate. And Torres would go on to walk. And look, it would be hypocritical of us to sit here on this reaction show and do the opposite of what we do on the Chiefs reaction show. Every time there's a Chiefs game where there's a call that has people up in arms and say, hey, get over it. Refs miss calls. You got to get over it tonight. Umpires miss calls. They missed a lot of calls tonight. Some of them felt pretty big, like the play at second base, where it's
very blatant.
Looked like Jazz Chisholm was out. I got to be honest, when I watched that one, I kind of thought that was going to stand. It was so tight that I figured that play would stand as soon as it went to replay. But boy, a lot of people saw it with a lot more certainty than me.
I got a message. I got a tweet on Twitter from somebody that works at a radio station in West Virginia that I interned at that station, and he said, as a New York fan, Jazz was out at second. Straight up told me.
Yeah, I mean,
out at second. Like,
it was a tight one, and I think Vance echoes a lot of Royals fans in our YouTube live chat. Says it's pissed off when the umpire decides the game. There were a lot of bang, bang calls, tight strike ball decisions, and that play at second base, which, of course, went on to produce the go-ahead run. Had the runner been out, it's 2 out, nobody on. Instead, Chisholm ends up scoring on Verdugo's decisive single. That did. Like the calls that were 50-50s really did feel decisive in this one, and frustrating way to win the game.
Another one when Bobby Witt was up to bat in the 9th inning, right? He was up there, and there's that ball. There was that strike that was really low. After he got struck out, he gave it to the ump.
Yeah, that was as demonstrative as we ever see Bobby Witt. Like, not enough to go get yourself thrown out of a game, which is smart because it's still a one-run game at that point. But, that's as much as we ever see Witt interact with an umpire after a call, and I think that was pretty indicative of how he felt. But look, strike zone is what it is. It's plenty big without having to rely on the umpire giving you all the coin flip calls. You got to fill it. And in the 5th inning, the Royals did not fill it and walked in a pair of runs to take a game that had been a 3-2 Royals lead, flip it into a 4-3 deficit at the time. And it was the middle of this Royals bullpen. Angel Zerpa, who had been really, really good, was obviously one of the heroes of Game 2 of the Baltimore series, walks a couple. John Schreiber walks the go-ahead run in, coming in relief. Sam Long walks a batter. That leads to a run scoring. Michael Lorenzen allowing the inherited run on the tying single by Wells, and then Lorenzen allowing the go-ahead run in the 7th inning on the single by Verdugo. But 8 walks is not going to cut it, even with 11 strikeouts, which was good. 8 strikeouts is not going to cut it. And I thought the Royals bullpen usage tonight was fine. I didn't have too many problems with it. Maybe would have liked to have seen Bubic instead of Lorenzen. Bubic a little sharper. Lorenzen hasn't pitched in a while.
No.
That was a tough spot for him to come into. And again, that's nitpicky. And I know I like to second guess. Anybody who's listened to me on 580 Sports Talk knows I'm happy to Monday morning quarterback it on Matt Cotrero when things don't go well. But that's one where hindsight really is 2020. I liked the uses of Urseg, knowing that you have the day off tomorrow. Go set him loose on their best hitters. That was the ball game. Like if the middle of that Yankee order in the 7th or the 8th pads the lead out, the ball game is over. So go get Urseg, treat that like this is the game. We have to get all these outs. We have to keep it at a 1-run game, and know that he's got the day off tomorrow. So you can bring him back in Game 2. No worries there. It is a frustrating loss, and it feels like money left on the table because the Royals did lead so many times, and because Michael Wacha was throwing well early through the first 4 innings. Only runs he gave up were on one of the chintziest home runs you will ever see off the bat of Gleyber Torres, a true Yankee Stadium special in that it is only a home run at Yankee Stadium. The batted ball metrics have that one. But I got to be honest, like, you contrast this with how Detroit lost Game 1 of the other American League Division Series, where Cleveland jumped on them, put a 5 spot around their neck in the first inning, tacked on late, dominated the game. Like, I know it's a best of 5, and you don't like being down 1-0 in a best of 5. It feels a little bit frantic, but honestly, if I'm in the Royals clubhouse, I don't feel like all is lost. I feel like you match up still pretty well. You've got Cole Reagans on the mound on Monday. You feel like you've got the better of that pitching matchup. I don't think it's time to panic in that Royals clubhouse. I don't think they'll have any panic in them.
No, and I don't think so too. And back to the pitching matchup tonight, I hadn't realized that Michael Wacha hadn't started a playoff game in 9 years.
Yeah, it had been a while.
Like, I just envisioned him, I guess because I envisioned him in like 2012, 13, 14, and 15. Like, that's the Michael Wacha I envision in my head when I think of playoffs and Michael Wacha.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it had been a while, but I thought he was pretty sharp early, and I thought he struck out Gleyber Torres. And the TV graphic thought he struck out Gleyber Torres, and Adam Hamari didn't think he struck out Gleyber Torres. And the game kind of flipped there in the 5th inning. It felt like it was kind of starting to settle down. Garrett Cole was starting to settle in. That's the other part about this one that's frustrating, is Garrett Cole was not sharp. He was not good. No, and you got a chance to beat the other team's ace in a short series in Game 1. And you didn't get the opportunity to do it. It's frustrating. It feels like money left on the table. But again, you also don't feel like you're overmatched in this series. You don't feel like you're overwhelmed.
I feel like that
the Royals
gives
all
you,
season long. Go ahead.
I feel like that gives you kind of hope against him if you have to see him again, because the way that this all lines out is if you extend the series, you're probably going to see these Game 1 starters again.
Yeah, you probably see him in game 4.
Yeah.
Or even, well, maybe not game 4. It depends. Like you could see him in game 4. That's Thursday, so that would be full rest for both of these guys. So
Yeah.
they had good at bats against Garrett Cole. They had good swings. A lot of them just didn't produce the desired effect. It's frustrating, but you feel like you match up still, I think, pretty well. And for all season long, the Royals have felt like momentum is your next day's starting pitcher, and they have to be true to that with Cole Reagans on the mound in game 2 on Monday night. That'll be a 6:38 Central Time first pitch, and we'll give you a reaction to that one right here on these same video channels, 580 Sports Talk on YouTube and WIBW News. We're going to do a Royals and a Chiefs reaction video on Monday night. I don't know how that's going to work. We might just...
Are they going to be combined? Who knows?
We might just mash them up. That is TBD. But we appreciate those of you who turned out and checked this one out, watched it live. Appreciate those of you who will watch it later on. Again, the Royals fall in Game 1, 6-5 to the New York Yankees. They trail this best-of-5 American League Division Series 1-0. For Spencer Dupuis, I'm Dan Lucero. Have a great night, everybody.